So I have been reading this book. It's called Self-Defeating Behaviors by Milton R. Cudney and Robert E. Hardy. It is actually raining a little bit right now, but that is okay. I think the sky looks cool. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the book. The book is very interesting. So I think the book is in between a self-help book and a psychology book. And I love those kinds of books where they explain how to help you, explain the steps, and then explain the psychology behind that and why it works and the science that backs it. So I think that's really interesting. So I'm not done with the book yet, but I do want to share what I've read so far and what I've learned so far. First, we have to start with the question of what is a self-defeating behavior? A self-defeating behavior is when someone's life-enhancing internal systems interact with the output of a toxic environmental culture. People only choose self-defeating behaviors when these two worlds collide. Over time, this interaction provides fuel for the fear that keep people stuck in negative patterns, cyclical unhappiness, and defeat. This only keeps working over time because the self-defeating behavior someone has gets nourished and exercised repetitively over a long period of time. At each new moment in life, a person must make a choice to practice a self-defeating behavior. Therefore, self-defeating behaviors become habitual and lead you down the road of unhappiness. This choice inevitably comes with negative consequences one must face and live by. Further repeating the process. Like the book states, a true self-defeating behavior is an action or attitude that once worked to help an individual cope with a hurtful experience, but that now works against the individual to keep him or her from responding to new moments of life in a healthy way. It is raining. I will continue the video in a new clip when it is not raining. Okay, it is no longer raining. Let's get back to the video. In a similar way, the behavior that you used to once face and manage a threat successfully will become imprinted within your memory, even though it was outright wrong or not the best choice to begin with. In your mind and memory, this behavior is an effective and successful way of dealing with other, different, threatening situations, even though these new situations only have surface-level resemblances to the original hurtful and threatening experience. Inevitably and eventually, this self-defeating behavior gives the very consequences you are trying to avoid, only because you are nourishing, practicing, and exercising this self-defeating behavior. I can sense rain coming in the future from this cloud. Self-defeating behaviors lead you away from a healthy growth, a healthy life, and in the end take you exactly where you did not want to go. Professor Ross L. Mooney developed a model of how life renews, nourishes, and works itself out. This model shows a system in which feelings, thoughts, and actions are exchanged and processed. On one side, there is the human system and its human subsystems. And on the right, there is the cultural, societal, environmental system and its cultural subsystems. The infinity symbols represent the path along which messages and actions travel from individual to culture or culture to individual. I personally think when it goes from culture to individual, we will especially see that those are the moments we choose self-defeating behaviors the most. The new moment in life, where the two worlds collide and the infinity symbols intersect, is when the individual and his or her culture exchange information, requests, and most importantly, responses. Each input, message, action, or information transmitted through this system is processed within the human system or the cultural system. It does not only affect the larger system and its subsystems, but the opposite system too. Each of the subsystems is dependent on one or several other subsystems. Each human subsystem is prepared to perform many healthy functions, send and receive healthy messages, and have its requirements met. As long as these remain healthy, this is how life and health are maintained. Only through the psychic subsystem can the human system act and perform in a way that is contrary to its natural and original purpose. The psychic subsystem is in charge of bringing messages from the human subsystem and cultural system to consciousness. The conscious part makes conscious choices and decisions, and the conscious component assigns basic and repetitive choices to the unconscious. When there's toxic input at a new moment in life, the human subsystem does everything it can to expel or adapt to the intrusion. Almost always, the intrusion is reduced or eliminated. Not in the best way though, more often than not. Once this process is repeated several times over the course of your life, the conscious choice that you made to eliminate or reduce the intrusion initially becomes assigned to the unconscious part of your psychic subsystem because it becomes repetitive and basic, so you assign it to your unconscious. Those are all of my notes from the book so far, and I really hope you enjoyed following me along. I will keep you updated on my notes for this book in a part 2 of this video. Goodbye!